I grew up here. I was born in Arkansas, and our family were very devout Baptists, and we went to church every time the doors were open. And so when I would ask the preachers questions like why the Bible doesn't mention dinosaurs and things like that when I was a young man, it would just confuse people. And, this whole idea of going to hell if you didn't ask to be saved really threw me out. And, this idea of being in eternal fire forever was what we were taught. And so I joined the church, and I said, well, how do you get saved? And they said, just ask. And I thought, well, that's a no-brainer, And so I ask every day. And then when I was about 12 years old, and our social activity was all in the church. A friend of ours said that it was a peer, another person about 12, said they realized they had not really had enough faith and they weren't saved, and they rejoined the church. And I thought, wow, that must be my problem, because I didn't like going to church. And, I was always getting in trouble. I'd think up games to play. We'd hide a little piece of paper in the hymn book and pass it over. And I had a little stopwatch on my wrist, and that other person would have 60 seconds to find that little piece of paper. And if they didn't find it, I got to hide it again. And so we had all sorts of games to play. And so she realized that felt she hadn't been saved, and so I thought, well, that must be my issue. So I joined again, and then I joined again at 15. And by this time, they were saying, don't worry about it, you're saved, you're not going to go roast in hell forever. And when I was 24 years old, I was in Brazil on the banks of the Amazon River, and a German man gave me a copy of There Is a River. And I read about reincarnation, and I had that moment that all these people told me they had when they got saved, this the eureka moment. I had that when I read There Is a River. And it changed my life. And so Linda talks about similar experiences growing up in the Carolinas and in Virginia. So her book is called The Awakening. And is Linda in here just now? She's out in the hall as well, but their book is there, and I wanted to mention that. And before I introduce our speaker for this morning, I want to mention again the ARE drive of memberships. We're about halfway there, where our goal is to get 200, and so we really encourage you to sign up today. And if we get 200 today, we'll do a partial drawing tonight, and we'll add in a couple of other things for it. And the reason I promote this is not simply because I feel I have a debt to this wisdom. The wisdom of Edgar Cayce is particularly conducive to Americans, to North Americans, because there is such an evangelical movement here. So many people are raised in a church, and so was Cayce. Cayce read the Bible for every year of his life, and so when he started getting readings about reincarnation, it scared him. And he stopped for a while because he believed everything that was written. And when the readings started talking about the Catholic Church and the Council of Nicaea changing the Bible to suit political controls, it was hard for him. And so it explains the process that he went to. That book, by the way, is available in the ARE bookstore. And I've given copies of that book to so many people in my family here in Arkansas. There Is a River, and it was written by Thomas Suger. It's an excellent book. So I gave it to 5 of my cousins, and one of them believed it. The other ones are still praying for me. And so the conversions into the wider region, it takes a lot to overcome some of the programming. And so the point being, when you join the ARE, you connect to a group energy, and group energies offer a really important source of energy, particularly in the crucible astrologies that we're going through between now and 2038. Okay? So, Our next speaker is Dr. Samir Osmanagich, a man of great courage, a man of great dedications. A lot of you are not aware that he personally has funded so much of the excavations that are going on. And it is, you know, it takes courage. It's particularly difficult when, you know, a lot of the academics are caught in a crossfire because so many in mainstream academia will lose their credentials. So many in science will lose their credentials if it's not absolute bulletproof. And even in many cases, when it is bulletproof, they don't want to let go. And so there is just this sort of old think tank, and a lot of people, however, you know, even that are willing to cut into it, can't really come onto the side of it until there is incredible validation. And he's working on that, and that takes courage. That takes tremendous courage. And there is something there. And so for him to push through that and drive through not only the financial difficulties of funding that, to get down and find that evidence, but to, you know, overcome positions that might otherwise be discouraging. So let's give a tremendous round of applause to Dr. Samir Osmanagich.
Thank you, James. Thank you all for coming this morning. Yes, good morning. The Bosnian Pyramid power. Where is our sound? Now this is good morning. This morning I'm taking you to the Bosnian underground, not political, which is very developed, but archaeological. 2005 I first came to the town of Visoko. I'm seeing the first pyramid. I'm climbing on the top, across the valley, the second pyramid. We started geological core drilling, archaeological trenches, analysis. I wrote my first book about the discovery of the first European pyramids. And then in that book, I wrote that we were going to discover a network of prehistorical tunnels. And then I got attacked. Professors, anthropologists, geologists, they were saying, what is this guy saying? First pyramids, now underground tunnels. It's impossible. Well, 10 years later, turns out that it was very possible and very logical. I based my prediction on my experience with the pyramids in Egypt, Mexico, China, Peru. They all have underground tunnels. Some discovered, some not discovered yet. From the entrance to the tunnel to the pyramid, Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, 2.5 kilometers, 1.3 miles. Light blue, approximately 280 meters below the top of the pyramid, or 900 feet. When we had our Russian colleagues, Professor Havroshkin and Siplakov, 2 years later, 2007, 2008, with the use of their scientific equipment, they concluded not only that the Bosnian pyramids match Egyptian ones when it comes to the artificiality, but also from the top, there was the network of tunnels 280 meters below the pyramid. And this is exactly where we are going. Now we know that this is the most extensive underground tunnel network under any pyramid in the world. It runs for tens of miles. Now, how do we know that these tunnels will take us to the pyramid? Well, as I will explain later, all the tunnels are filled with the filler material. So, if there is no physical connection yet, the way to determine that is to measure the energy properties. Last night I mentioned that on the top of the Sun Pyramid, we have the energy beam, 28 kilohertz frequency in electromagnetism. And that's exactly what we measure in tunnels. I mentioned that we have ultrasound of the same frequency. That's exactly what we measure in the tunnels. So there is a clear energy connection between the tunnels and the pyramid. It's all one body. You get out of the tunnels, you move away from the pyramids, the frequencies are different. Now, the tunnels are built in the material called conglomerate. Conglomerate is a natural sedimentation. Water, when there are floods, brings pebbles, rocks, sand, water recedes, and the pebbles and rocks remain. After thousands and tens of thousands of years, it's get accumulated for 100 feet. What's below, because of the pressure, becomes compact. Well, in that compact material, the pyramid builders made tunnels, get the material out. What did they do with the material, with the stones and rocks and sand? They used it to make those concrete blocks. The only thing they did, they added the binder. Not cement, they didn't go to Home Depot, but they used clay, all natural materials. There is a direct link between the tunnels and the pyramid. So we know that they are the same builders. Inside we can see at least two civilizations. The first one, who made the network of the tunnels. And the second one, who came later, brought the filler material and those rocks, building drywall. So what they did, they sealed off the complete network. They didn't want anyone in the future to come any close to the pyramid. They wanted to either hide a big secret or to interrupt something, an energy flow, maybe. When did they close those tunnels? In the filler material, we are finding organic material. Once we did the radiocarbon dating, it's close to 5,000 years. So what we do, we clean those tunnels from the filler material, and now we are getting open tunnels. We don't open all of them, but we open those that are taking us south, southeast, in the direction of the pyramid. So far, we have cleaned and secured 1,750 meters, or 5,500 feet. A huge feat so far, considering that we do not receive a penny from the government. In those tunnels, we've been discovering big blocks, like this one, which we called K2. You see how it was covered with the conglomerate. But somebody brought this block here sometimes in the past. When? If we can find a piece of organic material above, then we can get the minimum age when this block was brought here. And guess what? In this conglomerate, we found a piece of wood which got there with the flood. Water was bringing everything, pebbles, rocks, but also wood and other pieces. And this wood got trapped between sand and rocks. And it'll give us exact age when those blocks were covered. We did radiocarbon dating in Poland and in Germany. And the age, 34,000 years. So somebody was moving those huge blocks. This particular one, 8 tons, 18,000 pounds. And as we can see, it's sitting on support, meaning somebody placed the support, the plate here, and they put the block on top of it. And they even connected them, glued them, with the material based on calcium carbonate. Why? They didn't want this block to move left or right. Why? Because under this block, there is underground water flow. Water moves, releases the energy. So this is very powerful energy spot. We took samples from the block, sent them to Institute for Atomic Physics in Zagreb, Croatia. They applied to very sophisticated scientific analysis, Röntgen diffraction analysis, and phased analysis. And their conclusion, it was definitely ceramic material, artificially made ceramic, synthetic ceramic. Somebody had technology over 34,000 years ago to make synthetic ceramic. Quartz, calcite, muscovite. Some people are saying muscovite, very important element, slows down the time. As a matter of fact, you went to the tunnels. After 2 hours, I asked people, how long do you think we were inside? They'll tell you, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 hours. And then, since this block is very thick, about 2 feet, we wanted to see if there was anything inside. 2 ways to figure that one out. To take a huge hammer or apply georadar instrument. So we have a dragging instrument, left, right, back, forth. And what this instrument does, it releases the X-rays. And based on the surface below, the X-rays travel at different speeds. Of course, through the air or water or stone, different speeds. So we have a table and we know exactly what is below. What the experts told us were 2 things. First, this block was made in 2 pieces, base and the cover, a lid. And second, exactly in the middle, there was an oval object. Not the air, not the water, not the ceramic, not the metal, but mineral, and most probably quartz crystal. So, what do we have? 21 meters or 70 feet below, underground water flow. Releases the energy. Hitting the quartz crystal, it activates the crystal. It is surrounded by ceramic, and ceramic resonates. And the resonance creates an electromagnetic field, which can be measured by our scientific instruments. And we measure 2 frequencies of electromagnetism. The first one is 28 kilohertz, and through the tunnels, this energy flow all the way to the pyramid. You close the tunnels, you stop the energy flow. This energy feeds the pyramid. Without the food, pyramid is becoming weak, like it is today. And the second frequency, 7.83 hertz, the Schumann Resonance, the best energy field for humans, plants, animals, for the planet. So, this is a technology, not the one like we use today, but still technology. The ancients were smart. They were always using natural materials to get a proper frequencies and the vibrations. You come close to this block, you open your hands, you can feel tingling in your fingers, energy flowing through your hands and body. You can see it, you can touch this energy, but you can feel. This is beyond our physical senses. Like we said last night, 5 physical. And not only 1 spiritual, but 30 spiritual senses. These places were meant for people to get the aura expanded, energy flow better. How many of you were in Bosnia? Anybody? 1, 2, 3, good. We have some people here. Any brief experience about the energy? Just say something. 2, 3 sentences.
It was magical. I was running in the tunnels with wheelbarrows of dirt, and I'm over 70 years old.
Wonderful. First-hand experience. Thank you. People come, they relax, energy going through them. They realize that's much more than the material world. Here, at this place, we are finding more and more blocks. This one is egg-shaped, 350 kilos, about 800 pounds. Beautiful shell. Now we can see the line here all around, a cover, a lid also. So, why is the position so important? Here's this egg-shaped block. The red, Hartmann grids. Most of us know that underground we have those lines called Hartmann lines. They run east-west, north-south, about a foot wide. The places where they intersect, very powerful energy spots, but from our human standpoint of view, negative energy. In ancient Sumer and Babylon, when they were building their temples, they were placing those stone columns every 10 feet, exactly at the spots where Hartmann intersections were located. Why? So people don't go there. They were smart. They don't affect them in a negative way. And we have lost that knowledge over thousands of years. Now we are regaining that knowledge back. And what we have here, we have intersection of not one, but two Hartmann lines intersected by two Hartmann lines, very powerful spot. And then we have so-called Curry grids. They are running diagonal. And they also intersect here, one with two lines. So they knew where to position this ceramic block. What this block does, it neutralizes negative energy, transform it to positive, and amplify, creating the vortex. And then it communicates with next block 10 feet away. Very carefully positioned. We discovered block so-called K5, which is 80 tons in mass, 180,000 pounds. A science of very advanced technology. Very powerful place also. And our band of volunteers are helping us to clean. You go to Egypt, you have one archaeologist and 10 diggers. You try to talk to archaeologists, they don't want to talk to you. You try to talk to the diggers, they say, oh, everything is secret, we cannot release any information. You come here, anybody can work with us under expert supervision. They love it, and everybody talk to each other, interact, exchange the ideas and information. And then we have done measurements with the instruments for the electromagnetism. Now we know that if those extremely low frequencies are at 3 hertz, that's ideal for viruses and bacteria and cancer development. But if it is 6, 7, 8, 9 hertz, very healing areas. And we know exactly where those areas in the network of tunnels are. Places that we called K1, K3, K2, healing chamber, and the others. We've been finding a lot of plates with carvings on the pyramids in the tunnels. For example, this plate found in the Sun Pyramid, we can see a lot of interesting symbolism here. Then we found another one. Again, some types of writings. Again, some more. This particular block have a lot of symbols that remind us on runic symbols, runes, which is the oldest writing in Europe. So they were not like letters today, but they were symbols. Every symbol had a meaning. Well, in this particular case, we have 8 symbols that match runes. And one of the translation goes like this. The gate has been closed. Wow. We will have to stay, defend ourselves until the gate is open again. Another one with a bunch of carvings, or more clearly, we have noticed that some of them are coming 2, 3, 5, 15 times. The most common symbols translated from runic writings are God, water, ice, and joy. Imagine concept of God 34,000 years ago. Water gives us life. Ice, everything north from Austria was covered in ice. No Germany, France, Poland, Scandinavia. Everything south, Croatia, Bosnia, Greece, Italy, no ice. And finally, what is the purpose in our life? To enjoy it. They knew that. Finding those side tunnels with the water, and now I will show you the discovery of one of the open sections, 157 meters, almost 600 feet this year. So I'm going to take you to the journey in the underground. Look at how clear water and drywalls. And somebody made this drywall to close this tunnel here. You see how different material, the filler material, and this is conglomerate.
Amazing.
Our archaeologists
This is an artificial construction, which we call a drywall, and it's got filler material behind. And you can see the consistency of the material, that it's not naturally there. It's immolated there. And there is no binding material between the drywall.
Sad je bilo zlo, ne. Evo ga, sad ide sjeverno-istok. Pokazuje sad.
Always young people and young at their hearts.
Mene je interesantnija stvar.
Da ne vidim.
It's a classic example of the type of drywall construction that we find in Ravne. So we have a tunnel, as you can see, that hasn't been constructed by the foundation, with the drywall placed in front almost as though it's a barrier of some sort, with a filler material behind, which is really moist, so it's really wet. So if you look at the ceiling is of a different texture and consistency than the filler material.
Very nice. Side tunnels with the water, drywalls, and look above my head. It seems that we have a companion here. Perfectly spherical light. In spiritual science, they are called orbs. And more orbs. This one is 1.5 feet in diameter. And look how it's conveniently located between the camera and the tool here, which disappears. You can't see them with your naked eye, but you can see them through your camera because the frequency is just right. More orbs. We've noticed that they are very joyful. They always go when there is some action. We are putting wooden supports, orbs are there. The guide is coming with a group of tourists. The orbs are getting around the guide because the guide is the one who talks, who gesticulates. They are like watching if he's saying the right things. And it seems they are very supportive. Never bad feelings around them. Orbs. Last year we had a gentleman visiting us who sold 62 million copies of his books. The guy from Switzerland, his name, Erich von Däniken. And while we were checking the tunnels, I was explaining him everything, and it's been like for 2.5 hours already. His assistant was filming us all the time. So now we're going to see what was happening in front of camera. Look how many orbs are coming from the side tunnels. They've been flying, hundreds of them. At different speeds, they are of different sizes. Going zigzag, coming back. checking if I'm saying the right things. And poor Daniken, after 3 hours in the tunnels, he was just thinking, when this guy is going to end? I want to go outside, light the cigarette. If we can just expand our vision for a little bit, how much richer the world we would see. Now, we discovered a new tunnel, and Sabina said, my dog, Sunny, is coming with us. He's checking what's going on, and a bunch of orbs are coming out. Smart cookie. Yes. He knows. And now this one is done by our volunteers. I don't know if we have too much light, but let's try. Can we get somehow these lights turned off? Yes, no? Now you will, here is the ground, and you will see thousands and tens of thousands of orbs, river of orbs. In the tunnel? Okay, now. Excellent, thank you. Here's the power cord, and over here is the ground, clay, stones, and look at the orbs. Look at the power cord, look at the, there is a foot here, the boot, and now you will start seeing orbs. A river of orbs. Actually, you can't. You can't see them. And now this guy was watching them through the camera lens, and he put his hands, but they are just going through his hand. They're at a different frequency. And we are different frequency for them. But it seems they can see us, because they come close to us looking. So they have their senses more expanded than us. Look, they move like birds. Move, stop, change direction, and there is no airflow in the tunnels. So it is an intelligent movement. Isn't this project the most exciting on the planet? Look. I thank you to the converts for taking those movies.
How are they related to the energies?
Well, we've been researching that. But I know that they've been living in Egyptian pyramids also, and now Bosnian pyramids. Now, this is the entrance to the first underground chamber that we discovered in 2010. You see how the chamber was completely filled with the filler material. The height of the chamber was 13 feet, and the surface 500 square feet. So we have removed the filler material manually, and that's exactly what she said, one of our beautiful volunteers, with the wheelbarrows. That's why we need volunteers to help us to clean, to get closer to the pyramid. And we've noticed that while people are going deeper in the tunnels, coming to this chamber, they breathe better and better, which is not very logical. You go to Egyptian pyramid after, a few feet, lack of oxygen. You go to the coal mining facilities, lack of oxygen. Not here. Not logical, but nothing is logical in Bosnia. People with the asthma, they go inside, they get outside, they don't need inhalators or air pumps no more. People with the allergies, They get outside, allergies are gone. People with the pains are gone. So we wanted to find out what causes that. More examples. This girl from Slovakia, 17-year-old Veronica, 3 years ago, her lung capacity was only 47%. Very poor, very weak. She came to the tunnels this year. She had an advice from Slovak Republic, from Bratislava, one doctor who was there last year. He told her, go to Ravne tunnels in Bosnia. She visited the tunnels 2 times. Her lung capacity went to 84%. So after 2 visits, he decided to join us and volunteer with us. And that's why, smile on her face. The team from Prague, Czech Republic, 6 of them, with a nurse, came to the tunnels, and they got measured before they entered it and after they came back. Among other values, the glucose, the sugar in the blood, was taken also. Now, when it comes to the sugar in the blood, as you know, from 3.5 to 7, normal level. From 7 to 11, risky group. Over 11, diabetes. The gentleman here called Jirka, 58 years old, before entering the tunnels, 7.8. After 1 visit, it dropped to 5.1, almost 3 points. Another guy, Karel, before entering, 10.5, risky group, almost diabetes. After he came back, 5.7, almost drop of 5 points. Now, how long does it last? First visit, drop. Second visit, drop. First day, second day, third day, fourth day. Well, while they were in Visoko, in the Bosnian Pyramid Valley, the level was normal. Then they went back to Prague. And then they went back to their habits. Unhealthy diets, stress. And the sugar level started rising slowly. This girl from Turkey, 54 years old, used to have very high blood pressure, reaching 220 over 135. You can imagine what kind of headaches she had for 11 years. Starting last year, she's been visiting tunnels every quarter, and the level never went up above 140 over 90. This girl just came from Slovenia, 10-hour bus trip, very tired, pressure in her eyes. Spent 1 hour, she got fully energized. She said the pressure in her eyes were gone. She felt super. She went to Sarajevo then. So now we are looking for the scientific explanations. What's happening inside? The element number 1, the concentration of negative ions. As the medical science knows, negative ions are very good because they clear the atmosphere from dust, they raise the level of oxygen, and they kill viruses and bacteria. In this conference room right now, we have rather low level of negative ions, 100 per cubic centimeter. By the time I finish my lecture, 5:00 p.m., it's going to be about 25. You're going to feel tired. Less negative ions. We go outside to the downtown of big cities, 400. We go out at open to the villages, 800. By the river, very refreshing, 1,500. Go to the top of the mountains in the forests, 4,000. In the Bosnian Pyramid tunnels, 40,000. So somebody was building underground healing facility. And that's now we do everything right. Scientific methods. June 4th, June 5th, June 6th, June 7th. 9 in the morning when no tourists are there. 11, 1, 3 o'clock, different locations. So we got good values on negative ions. The second element, we live on the surface of the planet. During the daytime, like yesterday, beautiful blue sky, sunny. In the night, we have stars and the moon, and we are romantically connected to life on the surface of the planet. However, a lot of cosmic radiations coming our way. Some of those cosmic rays are very bad, harmful for us, and our body cells fight those radiations. In the Bosnian Pyramid tunnels, 120 feet below the surface, no cosmic radiation. Element number 3, natural radioactivity. We walk on the surface, on some places, this natural radioactivity is coming from underground, attacking our body. And again, our body cells fight those enemies. According to the Geiger counters from the team from University of Sarajevo, the values in underground labyrinth are 10 times lower than the minimum allowed, meaning no radioactivities, no enemies. The moment you get into those tunnels, your body cells, without the enemies, can start doing their job. What is their job? To fix the problems in our body, to start the regeneration process, to start the self-healing process. Or, like many people say, to start the rejuvenation process. People go in there, come back, 10 years younger. Now you heard this girl, 70 years old. She felt like she was 45. One of our youngest volunteers, 74 years old engineer Janez Pelko from Slovenia, was listening to my lecture in Slovenia 5 years ago, and he said, listen, I like this volunteer program, but I'm a little bit too old for the wheelbarrows. Anything else I can do? I said, okay, Janez, what do you do? He said, well, I have these special instruments from Professor Korotkov from University of St. Petersburg from Russia, and I can film human aura, the bioenergy field around our body. I said, perfect, come and make a study. Over 3 years, he got 160 people, young, old, male, female, volunteers, full-time employees, tourists, researchers, media representatives. This is how the aura looks like through his instrument, this blue field. If this blue field is continuous, it means that we are perfectly protected, among other things. Now, this guy here, there are some discontinuation, but generally it is not too bad. The second guy is a little bit worse, and the third one. And the fourth one, well, I don't know how he's standing on his feet. So, brown is before they enter the tunnels. Green, after they came back. The aura improved. Brown before, green much higher. Brown before, green much higher. So we can see that in 85% of cases, the aura would always go up, expands. 10% were mostly our full-time employees who've been there for years, so we don't have a big oscillations. 5% skeptics, people against us. They come serious, they get out serious. They even got a smaller aura. The best result was with the guy who we told what we were doing, a student from Zagreb, Croatia. He went inside, went to meditate for 45 minutes, got back outside. His aura improvement was 40%. The power of intention. I got measured also before I entered the tunnels, and this was look of my aura. To the right, you see blue, nice, continuous. You see left, started good, and then all of a sudden discontinuation. The rest of it was good. Now, Janez from Slovenia told me, hey, pal, you might have a potential problem with the blood circulation. I went inside. I spent 2 hours in the tunnels, came back, got measured again. Look at here. Right, even bigger than before. Left, started good. Around the knee, completely self-healed. The self-healing. Yesterday, I was talking about the resistance from the cultural establishment, archaeologists, geologists, all others. They're very powerful. They have media, National Geographic, Wikipedia attacking us. That was a piece of cake, what is in front of us. Yesterday, I was talking to you about the free energy. Now imagine the lobbies, oil, gas, coal, nuclear, against us. Yesterday, I was talking about the energy beam going through the top of the Sun Pyramid, reaching probably other planetary systems. Wow. NASA, intelligence community will start looking into what we do. And now, the self-healing process. What does that mean? Pharma. Why would we need to buy pills anymore that don't resolve our problems? Just add 10 or 12 side effects, so we need to buy more pills and more pills. So, it seems that we are not for the easier ride in the future. And the only way to survive is to rely on people like you, who will come, who will talk about it, who will talk about your experience. We are not trying to convince anyone in anything. You let people come, feel, experience, they go home, they write on their blogs, they are doing YouTube videos. So this is the only way to stay totally open. Our friend Valeriu Varov, and remember, I mentioned him yesterday. I said this is a new generation of open-minded scientists. Valeriu Varov, Korotkov from Russia, Alexander Golod, people who were building pyramids, Michael Tellinger, Dan Winter. This is new energy in the science. Well, they have their field projects, and that's the reason why they are not jealous on other independent or mainstream researchers. No ego-driven personalities. So, he built several pyramids. This one is one in Moscow. This is one of his workers before he entered the pyramid. You see his aura field? And this is, to the right, when he came back from the pyramid. The pyramid energy. We've been measuring it using different devices. This gentleman, his name is J.J. Hurtak, Dr. J.J. Hurtak, who became very known 40 years ago while doing experiments in the Queen Chamber of the Great Pyramid of Egypt, the sound experiments. He came to Bosnia. After his 9 days visit, he said, because of Bosnian pyramids, we will have to change the definition of the pyramid. This is huge discovery. Well, in his hand, he's holding one of our artifacts found over there. Look how it perfectly fits his hand, meaning it is ergonomic, meaning it is made for the right hand. Look at the symmetry. And look at the symbols. Scientifically speaking, at this moment, we do not know what was the purpose of this artifact. However, as you have learned, we do rely on hints from spiritual aspect. Gerald Gumpert, the German who speaks good English, in the last month came 2 times in the Bosnian Pyramids. First, he heard me in Munich 2 months ago. He can see human aura. He can see the colors of chakras. He can see. And he starts explaining you. You have the blue aura. Well, he got this piece in his hands. He pointed to one of our employees. And then he said, oh, there is a clear transfer of energy from me to her through this instrument. Science does not have answers, but probably because of the shape, material, and symbols, the energy transfers goes towards her. Depending how you turn it, sideways, front, different energies, different parts of the body. And he will be with us on our spring equinox and summer solstice tour. And you are kindly invited to those. Water, very important resource. Some of the tunnels have like 5 feet water. Look how it is clear and clean. It's been here for thousands of years. We've been checking the water level during the flood seasons. It never rises. During the dry seasons, never drops. So it's been here in the tunnels for tens of thousands of years. You would expect water to be dirty and green because of microbes. Has not happened. Why? Because of the high concentration of negative ions. We did chemical and microbiological analysis. They told us the water was drinkable after so many thousands of years. And then we took more samples from the water. So far we have 5 tunnels with the water in open sections. And we sent samples to our friend, late Dr. Masaru Emoto. As we heard yesterday, he has become very popular filming the molecular structure of the water. Frozen water from different sources, contaminated from lakes, water exposed to different types of music, water exposed to mantras of love, and he realized that water remembers. Water has a memory. So, this is a tap water from New York City. What do we drink at our homes? In New York, in Houston, in London, in Sarajevo? Well, we captured the water somewhere on the mountain. And imagine the water just got out from the mountain, sees beautiful sky and the green. It got captured, going through the metal pipes for miles and miles. We are adding chlorine, a poison, traces of heavy metals. So once we open it in our kitchens, this water is energetically dead. This is dead water. This is water exposed to heavy metal music. It's all scared. This is Fujiwara Dam in Japan. The water looks nice, right? Beautiful. However, the molecular structure is ugly. This is the biggest fresh lake in Japan, Lake Biwa. Look how beautiful from the air, blue. In reality, look at this. Like we dropped the oil on the surface of water. Bad, energetically dead water. This is what we've been doing to our planet for centuries. And then we got results of sample of our water, the pyramid water in Bosnia. Look at this. It creates a perfect hexagonal geometry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at those like crystals, like Christmas trees. This water is energetically alive. This is a happy water. Why? Because it's been exposed only to good stuff. The best electromagnetic fields, the best ultrasound frequencies. We talked about it yesterday, levitation frequency. We talked about the Schumann Resonance, 7.83 Hertz, and a high concentration of negative ions, and probably more energy fields that we don't have instruments to measure them. Chi, life energy, for example. The others know about the Bowie scale. There's a scale which shows energy level or life force of everything. Humans, objects, waters. On this scale, healthy human starts at 6,500 Bowies. If we are tired, 6,000. If we are sick, 5,500. But if we are full of energy, 8,000. If we eat healthy, raw, organic vegetables, 10, 11,000. Freshly squeezed orange juice, 12,000. If we can heal with a touch, 14,000. In my example, before I entered the tunnels, 16,000. After I come back, 18,000 Bowies. Even some places can have measurements in Bowies. For example, place where there is a lot of meditation and the positive energy, the Buddhist temples, 14,000. Why she felt so good in the tunnels? Because we got 25,000 Bowies. The water that we drink at our homes, the tap water, 3,500 bovies. We are, for example, 8 or 10 or 18,000, and we are drinking 3,500, pulling us down. We are getting sick. 3 years ago, when we came here, we brought a few energy stones from the tunnels. And we had some dowsers here. They came with the pendulums, asking questions. Those pendulums were going like crazy, like a fan. Energy. The stone, 23,000 bovies in the Bosnian Pyramid tunnels. And the water from Bosnian Pyramid tunnels, 27,000 bovies. A healing water. One of our volunteers, Nigel, from UK, 55 years old, he had a problem with his eyes, always dry. He was buying in the pharmacy all these eye drops, could not resolve the problem. And then he started using the water. For 1 day, problem gone. Red is before you come to the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids, very low energy level. Blue, after you visit the tunnels, energy level expands. Green, after the tunnels and after you drink water. And the brown, after the tunnels and after the water and after you've been exposed to the energy beam on the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. This was done through gas discharge visualization GDV camera developed by Professor Korotkov from Russia. Let's stay with the Russians a few more moments. Alexander Golod was experimenting with the pyramid water. He had 2 groups of mice. He had control group and the pyramid group. Control group was given regular water. The pyramid group was given pyramid water, water exposed to the pyramid energy. And then he injected deadly bacteria, salmonella. The survival rate of control group was 0%. The survival rate of pyramid group, 40%. The pyramid water. And then he did experiment, injecting them, the cancer cells. Survival rate of control group, 0%. Of the other one, about 60%. The ancients were smart. They knew that the shape of the pyramid, putting on the right place, improves the molecular structure of the water, but also the food. In Russia, Lavov, they built a pyramid 11 meters high, 100 years old, and they were taking the wine, using the pyramid as the wine cellar. What they noticed was that the pyramid neutralizes the effect of the fusel oil, and people who drink the pyramid wine do not suffer from hangovers. So, let's build pyramids and drink as much as we want. The more you drink, you will improve your immune system, the state of your blood vessel walls, you will improve your circulation. So, the ancients were smart. So, when it comes to the purpose of pyramids and pyramid energy and the underground tunnels, as we learned yesterday, has nothing to do with the one dead body, that one of king or pharaohs. They were built to last thousands of years, for generations of living communities. And they've been affecting us on so many different levels. The Bosnian Pyramid energy beam going to other solar system. Very powerful communication devices. Very strong energy fields, which you can move through, teleportation. They raise your level of immunity. They improve the molecular structure of water. Water, food, clear the air, adjust the climate, improves your aura field, your energy flow through your chakras much better. You develop your spiritual senses. So finally, we develop all our abilities. That's the reason why they don't want us to know about the real purpose of pyramids. The book about the Akashic Records. In this one, second edition, we have not 6 but 8 Akashic record readers. Let's see what they say about the underground tunnels. So, I asked them what they can tell me about the labyrinth under the Bosnian Pyramids. Akashic record reader number 1, Nancy. She said they used the material from the tunnels to build the pyramids. And we know that. She said also, there is a round center with different tunnels radiating out like the rays of the sun. And there is a chamber in the center that is more of an open space. In the last 10 years, we have discovered 6 chambers from 300 to 500 square feet. But now she's talking about the huge one, which is more like an open space. We are not there yet, but we're going to get there. And it will be under the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. And she also said there are different levels of ceiling. Well, so far, we have been working in one level, which is huge, underground labyrinth. Reader number 2. Beneath the pyramids are tunnels. They are talking about the water. They got a lot of resources from under the ground. And she said the chosen ones were working with the energy in the tunnels. Reader number 3. The tunnels were intentionally filled with the rocks to keep people from getting inside. There is very deep cavern under there, connects to a cavern system under the earth, and there are beings that could get out there, but they don't. Reader number 4, I see beings. Well, we can conclude the Akashic records, you do the readings, they are never the same. 6 Akashic record readers, they are not the same. However, they do verify occasionally each other, and they are giving us the bigger picture. When I was thinking about this book and experiment, I said, okay, let me talk to 3 of them. But then I said, changed my mind, I said, okay, let me do 6. Now I regret that I didn't do 20 of them, because I would get the full picture. Okay, he said 55 more minutes, all right. Thank you, James. They had hidden a certain type of technology. Technology is hidden. Reader number 5, there was a healing chamber, and we know that. It is about the moving of the energy, and then we learn that also. Reader number 6, the tunnels are very extensive. There is a main room. They were closed by later generation, and now it is time to discover this. Reader number 7. Reader number 7, Diana Manilova, the leading psychic from Russia. She's in my new book. Tunnels had purpose to save life. There are different levels, a lot of tunnels. Atmosphere was good, but water was not good. So they were cleaning the water. They had generator for water cleaning, crystal, gold, ionization air, bioproton, remove aggression, calm down. Reader number 8, Sue Jones, a beautiful energy healer and archaeologist, spirituality and science, from England. And she's coming for our spring and summer tour groups. Tunnel complex is huge. It's going to take you a good number of years before you even come close to understand the labyrinth. Well, thank you, Sue. There is not just one layer, there is another layer underneath. Now, she's the second one talking about different layers. And even a third layer in some parts. The ceramic blocks are markers of energy, inflow and outflow. In the last 20, 25 years, Bosnia has been known as a country of war and violence and war criminals. Nowadays, it's the most corrupted country in Europe. Only the bad news. We want to change that with this project. We want people to know Bosnia as a country of pyramid and archaeology and cultural heritage and the volunteers and the research and the tourism. Positive news. I named one of the pyramids the Pyramid of Love, the first one in the world. Archaeologists are attacking me, said, why did you give it such a romantic name? Why didn't you name it Structure Number 5? The words are very powerful, the most powerful, the word love. From 80 countries are coming. What they are doing? Getting charged with the pyramid energy. Our summer solstice and spring equinox tours on the top of the sun pyramid, getting the energy of the pyramid. So, next year, March 14, 21, and I'm still waiting, James, to decide when he's going to come with this group. Or summer solstice, 7 days, or our conference in September. A lot of smiling faces. volunteering program you will find on our website, 11 days. We go and check different sites. We see beauty of the Bosnia, and then they are given the tools in their hands. Smiles, and they are having fun along the way. The message is, who do you love the most? Beginning of chain, you. We discovered, okay, two more slides. In September of this year, 6 weeks ago, we discovered the entrance to the second level of tunnels. So now we know that those information from spiritual realm were right. It's like octopus. Head, the pyramid above the ground, a lot of tunnels below the ground. So when we think about the future of humanity and the science, it is not in elite science, information they keep hidden from us, serious and too serious scientists, close-minded. It is in people like this, open-minded, ready to share, and with a smile on their faces. Thank you.
Beautiful speaker. Passion. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. I'll be around the corner with the books and the flyers, and you'll be able to feel more pyramid energy.
So another round of applause for Dr. Samir Osmanagich, please. Now, as I mentioned, we have an incredible lineup of speakers today. And so we're going to take just a brief 5-minute break while we set up William Henry. William Henry is an amazing speaker.